All right. So we'll first look at one of the last examples, the last problems, projectile motion, and then we will introduce a new type of motion, still in 2 dimension, but a motion that is very different in its appearance, and then we have a very special description for it. So we'll start with the monkey problem. You have been, I guess, struggling with it in your assignment as well. So we have a monkey hanging by a tree at some height h, uh, and then there is a shooter. An unfortunate example, we don't really need to hunt monkeys. And then we have a shooter standing at distance d from the tree, and then they have got a gun. And now the question that we have to ask is, the first situation or the first scenario is that the moment, forget about physics for the time being, let's think like a person who is not trained in physics. Now you want to shoot the monkey, and monkey somehow has the ability to hear the shot. So the moment the bullet is fired, the monkey let's go off the branch that it is holding on to. And now for you to be able to hit the monkey, what should be your angle? What should be your aim? Should you be aiming directly at the monkey? Okay. Should you be aiming higher? Well, if you aim higher and monkey is falling down, you're never going to hit. So the other possibility is, the more intuitive probably possibility is that should you hit, should you anticipate the fall and then shoot a little bit lower than the monkey and then hope the bullet would hit the monkey. Okay. So what should be the angle? Can you say yes? People who say that we should aim directly at the monkey, say yes, and the people who say no if you think that we should aim below the monkey. So yes, no from the non-verbal response. Quickly, please. From the non-verbal responses. Yes, no. Yes, if you think that we should aim straight at the monkey. No, if you think we should aim slightly below, anticipating the monkey's fall. Below. A bit below, yes. A bit below. It's just an educational example. We're not shooting the monkey in reality. Don't worry. Don't stress. So, all right. So that's good. Thank you. So let's figure out this using the physics. Okay. So what happens when we have a realistic situation? Okay, now let's reverse the situation. Okay. And think about this, that the monkey does not let go the branch when we shoot. Is the bullet going to hit the monkey if we aim straight at the monkey? Yes or no? Yes, no? No. Okay, good. So let's find out the answer more rigorously. Let's use now our physics and find out that if the monkey lets go off the branch, the same moment the bullet is fired, so what should be the angle? What should be theta? The initial velocity of the bullet should be making with the x-axis for the bullet to hit the monkey. Okay, so we have done this exercise so many times before and we can do it again. So let me choose the origin of the coordinate system at where the hunter is. So that's x, and then this is y. All right. So now we start writing all the quantities that we always use and do. So first we write the position vector of the bullet at time 0. That's why I write R naught B, and the position vector of bullet is 0. Bullet is at the origin. And what would be the initial velocity of the bullet? It would be u cosine theta ex plus u sine theta ey. And the acceleration that we have is simply because the coordinate axis is chosen in such a way that it's minus g ey. All right. Now, if I know all these three quantities, as you can see, we have the gravitational acceleration present, which is constant in time. So we can use the equations of motion, which give us the constant, which are for constant acceleration. So the RB would be R naught is 0. So we'll just start with this equation. This is the equation we are trying to write. R naught plus ut plus half at squared vector as well. Okay, so R naught is 0. U is u cosine theta ex, and sorry, there is a time here. It's multiplied by u cosine theta times t ex plus u sine theta t ey minus half g t squared ey. All right, is it correct?
Yes.
And then you can write the x component separate from the y component, or you combine the x component ex and then plus u sine theta t minus half gt square ey. Okay, so this is the position vector of the bullet. Now using the same exercise, now we would find out the position vector of the monkey. So just one tricky bit here. The origin is here. So the position vector of the monkey at time 0 is not 0. All right, so let me write it here. R0 monkey is what? Anyone?
H.
H.
DEX plus HEY.
DEX.
Yes. DEX plus HEY. ठीक है? That's the position vector at time t0. Now we have to figure out. So its monkey's initial speed is 0. Okay. The only thing it has in the expression is the initial position, non-zero, and the initial acceleration. But it's or the acceleration. Its initial position is initial speed is 0. So we have everything. We have R naught, and we have the acceleration, which is same for both the bullet and the monkey. We plug this back into this equation, and we write the position vector of the monkey as well. And it is DEX. And if I can group the x components, that would be H minus half GT squared EY. ठीक हो गया? Is it clear to everyone?
सर DT और HT नहीं होगा?
सर ये लास्ट वाला थॉट वापस एक्सप्लेन कर लें.
जी दो क्वेश्चन है. क्या दोबारा बताएं?
सर DT और HT नहीं होगा?
नहीं होगा ना। इक्वेशन में देखें पोजीशन वेक्टर के साथ टी मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो क्या होगा, इधर नहीं होगी। पोजीशन वेक्टर का कंपोनेंट तो टी वाला नहीं है ना, वेलोसिटी के साथ टी मल्टीप्लाई होता है और एक्सेलरेशन के साथ टी स्क्वायर्ड। तो यहाँ पे तो ये 0 है, तो ये आर नॉट के कोऑर्डिनेट्स यहाँ लिखे हैं। ठीक है,
जी सर।
अच्छा वो अच्छा ठीक है। एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस?
सर ये लास्ट स्टेप वापस समझा दें।
सर
जी
एक सवाल है।
एक मिनट रुकिए, ये लास्ट स्टेप वाले कौन है? पहले लास्ट स्टेप वाले।
सर मैं लास्ट स्टेप वाला वापस समझा दें, इसमें ये
इसमें बताएं ना क्या बात है जो समझ नहीं है मुझे, कहाँ तक आपको समझ है, देन आई कैन हेल्प मैन।
सर बस ये जो dy है ये पूरा ये hy है।
जी
लास्ट स्टेप में जो dy है ये
कौन सी क्वेश्चन में? यहाँ पे या यहाँ पे कहाँ पे मुझे बताएं ना। इट्स फाइन बट यू हैव टू बी स्पेसिफिक ना। चलो मैं एक दफा रिपीट कर देता हूँ, ठीक है। यहाँ तक लेट्स से कि ये बुलेट का पोजीशन वेक्टर आपको समझ आ गया। नाउ ये ओरिजिन है हमारा, ये 0 है, 0 0। अब इस ओरिजिन से जो मंकी का पोजीशन वेक्टर है वो ये है, ठीक है। इसका x कंपोनेंट इज नथिंग बट dex है, ठीक है। इसका x कंपोनेंट d है और y कंपोनेंट जो है इस पोजीशन वेक्टर का, ये r मंकी का, इसका y कंपोनेंट इज नथिंग बट h। ये दोनों हमें गिवन है d और h की सूरत में, ठीक है। लेट्स से वी नो द नंबर्स। तो इनका पोजीशन वेक्टर एट टाइम 0 वुड बी r नॉट m इक्वल्स x कंपोनेंट प्लस y कंपोनेंट। ये हो गया वेलोसिटी मंकी की इनिशियल स्पीड व्हेन लेट्स गो ऑफ द ब्रांच वो 0 है, तो मैं लिख देता हूं u m इज 0, ठीक है। और एक्सेलरेशन उसका वही है जो बुलेट का एक्सेलरेशन है, ये वाला। तो ये तीन क्वांटिटीज मैंने इंट्रोड्यूस करवाई हैं, ये डबल लाइन के साथ जो लिखी हैं तीन क्वांटिटीज, दिस एंड दिस इनटू दिस इक्वेशन, ठीक है। और वो यहाँ पे मैंने लिखी है, हमारे पास dex आ गया है, hex माइनस हाफ gt स्क्वायर, ex को मैंने कॉमन लेके लिख दिया है, ठीक है जी। ये हाथ किसका खड़ा है? मोहम्मद साद।
सर मैंने ये पूछना था कि अगर आप सेपरेट मोशंस ले रहे हैं तो सर मंकी तो नीचे गिरा है, उसका जी पॉजिटिव नहीं होगा?
भाई ये बहुत दफा पहले डिस्कशन हो चुकी है कि इट्स नॉट द एक्सेलरेशन ड्यू टू ग्रेविटी डज नॉट डिपेंड ऑन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन, इट्स साइन डिपेंड्स ऑन द कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम यू आर वर्किंग इन, ठीक है। अगर ये बात नहीं क्लियर तो दोबारा बेशक पूछ लें,
नहीं सर ठीक है।
ठीक है। All right, so now the physical condition for the bullet, irrespective of whatever angle, now since we have introduced the d and h, in a way implicitly angle has been introduced into the equations, we will see that. But the main point is the position vector of the bullet would progress in some fashion, here or straight line, and the monkey's position vector would keep changing its position downwards. So the physical condition is that we set the two vectors equals to each other, rb equals rm, and that is the condition that would give us bullet meeting the monkey, right?
Sir, I had a question.
जी
आप जो दोनों की ये डिस्प्लेसमेंट इक्वल रख रहे हैं, अगर हम ये करते कि अगर आप दोनों के एक्स कोऑर्डिनेट को इक्वल रखते तो वुड वी गेट दिस राइट आंसर?
जी बिल्कुल,
why-
बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। मैं इसी की तरफ आ रहा हूँ। ये जो आपने सवाल पूछे कि जब भी दरअसल आप दो वेक्टर्स को कंपेयर करते हैं, ये मैंने पहले भी किसी जगह पे बात की थी, तो effectively what you are doing is you are setting the x coordinate equals to x coordinate and y equals to y coordinate. There is no other equality between vectors. When two vectors are equal, that only means the x component of one vector is equal to the x component of the other, y component of the one vector is equal to the y component of the other, and that's what we are getting to. But that's the most general way of writing it, and there is no harm in it. So let me bring back. So RB, now let's just consider the X component as you just asked. RB equal RM means their X components are equal. So what is the X component in both cases? In this case, X component is for bullet is this is the X component, and for monkey this is the X component. So let's equate them. D is equal to, or the other way around, so that to be consistent. Cosine theta t u cosine theta t is equal to D. ठीक है, और यहाँ से अब t फाइंड कर लेंगे, टाइम एट विच पॉइंट देयर x coordinates would match, and that would be d over u cosine theta. That's it, right?
सर हमने क्वेश्चन में वो थीटा का नहीं फाइंड करना था, क्या व्हाट एंगल शुड वी?
जी, तो हम थीटा फाइंड करने ही जा रहे हैं, ठीक है, लेकिन वी कांट डू इट डायरेक्टली, वी विल हैव टू फॉलो दिस प्रोसीजर. तो ये हमने x कंपोनेंट कर लिए, अब इन वेक्टर्स के y कंपोनेंट्स कर लें. ठीक है, अब y कंपोनेंट्स ये है मंकी का y कंपोनेंट, मंकी के वेक्टर का, और ये है बुलेट के वेक्टर का x कंपोनेंट. एक दफा दोबारा देख लेंगे, u sin थीटा t माइनस हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर्ड, और ये y कंपोनेंट है h माइनस हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर्ड ey. तो that would be h minus half gt squared equals u sin theta t minus half gt squared. So if you look at the both side of the equation, देखने वालों में इसके लिए निशानियां हैं. So what do you see? That the x component, sorry, the gravitational component, the component in the position in the component due to the component or the contribution due to gravity cancels on both sides. So this more or less already answers the question, but we'll find out the answer anyway. Okay. So now we are left with h equals u sin theta t, and t की वैल्यू यहाँ से आप सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लें. ठीक है, ऊपर से तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, u sin theta d over u cosine theta. ठीक है, u कैंसिल हो जाएगा, and then h, then what is h over d?
tan theta.
tan theta. अब यहां से एंगल फाइंड कर लेंगे. ठीक है, अब एंगल इज tan इनवर्स ऑफ और arc tan ऑफ h over d. ये हमें गिवन है लेंथ h over d. h over d होने का मतलब पता है कि हमें थीटा पता है. ठीक है, तो ये
अगर हम लोग इनिशियल वाला डायग्राम देखें तो उसके अंदर अगर हम पाइथागोरस थ्योरम लगाते तो भी हमारा यही ना आंसर आता.
नहीं, इसमें एक फर्क है, वो मैं समझ रहा हूँ आपका सवाल. ठीक है, थीटा इज इक्वल टू tan इनवर्स h over d. ठीक है, हाँ, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है ये. असल में मसला ये है कि ये लुक्स ट्रिवियल, the result looks trivial. It's not trivial. Pay attention. We do not know theta in the beginning, and we are trying to guess at what angle should we shoot so that the bullet meets the monkey. Okay, we know the d, we know our distance from the tree, we also know the height of the tree. Okay, but we do not know which angle to shoot. ठीक है ना, तो ये हमें थीटा नहीं पता किस एंगल पे शूट करना है. वो तो इस ट्रायंगल का अगर जो पोजीशन वेक्टर है उसका एंगल हमें शुरू में पता है. ठीक है, अब आफ्टर इम्पोजिंग द कंडीशन that if we take into account the gravity, the everything, and consistently calculating, then we find out theta is equal to tan inverse of h over d. इसका मतलब ये है कि we should shoot directly at the monkey. बेशक monkey fall कर रहा है, कुछ लोगों ने शुरू में ये जवाब दिया था, and if I ask people who are not trained in physics, they would always give you an answer कि you should slightly correct course, you should slightly shoot below so that the bullet definitely hits the monkey. No, that's not true. The physics tells us you should hit straight at the monkey, aim straight, and the gravity acts both on the bullet. So bullet would change its course due to gravity. It would go slightly like this instead of traveling in the straight line. And at the same rate, the monkey is falling down at the same rate as the bullet. So that's why they meet nevertheless. If you have the theta, that is exactly the velocity, the initial velocity exactly in the direction of the monkey. So this is what this is the lesson. Okay. So if the monkey was not moving and we shot straight at the monkey, we are going to miss it because our bullet is going to go here even if we aim at the monkey. So if the monkey is not moving, then you should aim, or if you are hunting anything else, then you should aim slightly higher. And then bullet would curve path along a parabola to hit that object. But if the object is falling at the same rate as you're shooting, if the object is falling, then you should aim straight at the object and they would meet below here. ठीक है, ये बात समझ आ गई सबको? And this is all about the projectile motion and the monkey. So let's get on to जी.
सर ये मुझे वर्किंग तो सारी समझ आ गई है, लेकिन बस ना मुझे ये थोड़ी बात कंफ्यूजिंग लग रही है कि हम एक्स और वाई कंपोनेंट मंकी और बुलेट के इक्वल क्यों लेंगे?
ये दोबारा बताएं।
सर ये जो मंकी और बुलेट है उसके जो आई थिंक डिस्प्लेसमेंट के एक्स और वाई कंपोनेंट आपने आपस में इक्वल लिए हैं, वो क्यों लिए हैं? वो मुझे कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा है थोड़ा।
ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। वो इसलिए लिए हैं अहमद फराज कि ये हमने फिजिकल कंडीशन इम्पोज की है कि एंगल जिस मर्जी पे अभी शुरू में आप शूट करें वेलोसिटी, द बुलेट शुड हिट द मंकी. That is the angle that we are trying to calculate. Okay, and that physical condition means setting the position vector of the bullet equals the position vector of the monkey. When the two position vector match, that is when the bullet would hit, right? ये बात समझ आ रही है? ठीक है
जी सर।
तो ये x कंपोनेंट का ये सिंपल एक वेक्टर आप थोड़े से दोबारा रिफ्रेश कर लें कि when we have a vector equals a vector, ठीक है ना, तो ax ex plus ay ey, and if it is equals to bx ex plus by ey, दो वेक्टर्स के इक्वल होने का मतलब ये है कि उनके इंडिविजुअल कंपोनेंट्स भी इक्वल है. ये बेसिकली इससे आप दो इक्वेशंस लिख सकते हैं एक टू डायमेंशनल वेक्टर से, ax is equal to bx, and that's when you are working with, remember our original lesson about that it's easier and best to work with components. So ax is equal to bx and ay is equal to by. तो ये दो वेक्टर्स हैं, मैंने उनके x कंपोनेंट दो वेक्टर अगर मैंने इक्वली इंपोज कर दिया तो उसका ये मतलब भी है कि उनके जो कंपोनेंट्स हैं वो भी इक्वल है. ठीक है
जी सर.
सर ये बुलेट की इनिशियल वेलोसिटी भी एंगल को नहीं अफेक्ट करेगी?
ये देखें, इट डज नॉट मैटर, राइट? इट डज नॉट मैटर, राइट? ये आ रहा है इक्वेशन से. it would it in some extreme limit it would start affecting the projectile, but in this case it does not, because we have there are some assumptions that we did not make explicitly. ठीक है. So the next is uniform circular motion So broadly speaking, there are three types of motion. The one we have been studying so far is called translatory motion. Okay. Translatory motion means when an object moves from in a straight line, or it just translates, doesn't matter which fashion it moves, when an object moves from one position to the other position. Okay, that is translatory motion. The object goes from somewhere to somewhere. And if an object, for example, moves around a fixed point in circles again and again and again, that is called circulatory motion or rotatory motion. And then there is a third type of motion when an object moves back and forth around a given point. Okay. So it moves back and forth. That is called the oscillatory motion. So we have roughly these three, broadly speaking, three types of motion, and we see a lot of examples, not particularly in nature of this. For example, that's why wheel was thought to be the greatest invention, because wheel is actually what helps us use the circulatory motion to our advantage, because the friction between rolling objects and sliding objects is very different. So, and we see a lot of objects around us which exhibit circulatory motion, like fan or the parts of a car. Then we have the oscillatory motion. We'll talk about this hopefully later. So what we have been studying so far is was translatory motion. Today we are going to look at circulatory motion and a particular case of circulatory motion. Uniform circulatory motion. I'll explain what uniform circulatory motion is. All right, so let's say let's draw a coordinate system, or let's draw a path, a circle, and then choose an object which is traveling along or on this circle, and then choose the coordinate system at the center of this circle. And let's say that the radius of this circle is R, capital R. Okay, and this is the coordinate system, Y and X. All right. So let's say that the position vector of this object, which we have not calculated yet, R, makes an angle theta with the x-axis. Now, if this object is moving, its x coordinate is changing, right? And its y coordinate is changing as well. For example, when the object is here, its x component of the position vector is equal to R, right? Because this distance is R as well. And when the object is here, for example, the x component of the position vector is 0, the y component is equal to capital R. ठीक है? So ये थोड़ा सा, I just want to digress for a couple of minutes, that we have been talking about different coordinate systems and uses of different. This is an example which illustrates why using different coordinate system is helpful. For example, if we were to describe the motion of this object in Cartesian coordinates in x and y, we would have to track two quantities, the x component and y component, and their position time dependence. So we would have to calculate x of t and y of t, and from there we would calculate vx of t and vy of t, and then from there we would calculate ax of t and ay of t. But if you think of these two other values, the two other numbers that I have on the board, the theta, the angle that the position vector of the object makes with x-axis, and the radius, and the distance from the center. And since it's a circulatory motion, and circulatory motion by definition is motion along a circle, that means radius is fixed. So r does not change with time. It's a constant. So any quantity with respect to it, for example, dr dt would be 0. So the only parameter we need to describe the motion is just one variable, theta, which depends on time. Okay, so this is the advantage of using different coordinate systems. It's the same motion, you're going to get the same answers. But if you were using x and y as coordinate system, then you will have to solve very difficult equation, go through very difficult process, and in the end get the same answer. And if you choose r and theta, and you see both of them are sufficient to describe any position of this object on this trajectory. Okay, that was a small digression. Now we go back and
सर
जी
सर ये आप कह रहे हैं कि x और y एक्सिस इधर फिक्स्ड है और एंगल चेंज हो रहा है.
हाँ, एंगल चेंज हो रहा है ना, क्योंकि ऑब्जेक्ट मूव कर रहा है. ऑब्जेक्ट सर्कल के अलोंग मूव कर रहा है ना, तो x एंड y भी फिक्स्ड है. x एंड y कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम फिक्स है, x एंड y नहीं फिक्स. x एंड y तो टाइम के साथ चेंज हो रहे हैं. मैं इसकी मोशन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए, ट्रैजेक्टरी को कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए x एंड y कैलकुलेट कर सकता हूं, जैसे हम प्रोजेक्टाइल मोशन में करते रहे. Or the other choice is that instead of working with x and y, I choose to work with r and theta. Okay. If I work with r and theta, one of them turns out to be constant. So I've just got rid of one equation of motion and just left with to find the equation of motion for theta as a function of time. Okay. 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 So once we have theta, now remember, if we had x, and then if we knew x as a function of time, we could find velocity as a function of time, right? By just taking the derivative of it through this relationship, right? Now we know theta as a function of time, let's say we know, and we can find something that is equivalent to this derivative is with respect to t. Okay, we can take time derivative of it, and what we would get is, would we get velocity?
Yes. Angular velocity.
Angular velocity, yes. Not, this is linear velocity. So this is linear velocity, and what we would get is something that we note with omega to distinguish it from the linear velocity. We would get something that we are actually defining, that would be a kind of velocity, but velocity of an object going in the circle. So this is the angular velocity. Okay. So you see the relationship between linear motion and the circulatory motion. And there is a small exercise that if you want to do, for example, yourself, that if you, for example, write the coefficients of the position vector at a given time, for example, this one. So this would be the x component, r cosine theta at a given time, or actually at any time. Don't need to consider them at a given time, because the time dependence is implicit. Theta depends on time. So in a way, the x component depends on time, and the y component, y sine theta. All right. Now what? Oh, sorry, there is r here. And then you can write the position vector yourself. R cosine theta, and theta depends on time, remember. Ex plus r sine theta t. So this is a function of a function. Sine is a function of theta, theta is a function of time.
Sir, what does small r over here means?
The position vector. This the same thing as the capital R, but capital R is a scalar, and that's what I'm trying to show. And small r is this vector here, the position vector of the object from origin.
Okay.
ठीक है. But the interesting bit is that if you calculate its magnitude, if you calculate this quantity, what is the answer? Can anyone help me here?
The radius?
The radius r. So this is quite interesting if you think about it. This is a position vector which depends on theta, which depends on time, and in fact it describes the motion of a moving object. Okay, but its magnitude does not change. And you can see that the length of this vector is always fixed, only its orientation is changing. This vector is rotating. So its magnitude is always equal to the radius of the circle and does not matter what time you are taking. ठीक है, and this has important implications. Okay, so this is more or less the language we have now defined the angular velocity in a very similar manner as we define the linear velocity. It's the time derivative of the angle that the object's position vector makes with x-axis. So this was more or less general. We are going to consider the special case of the uniform circular motion. The special case of the uniform circular motion is that the object moves in such a way that in equal intervals of time, let's say delta t, it makes equal intervals, it subtends equal amounts of angle. It covers the same, let's say it makes same amount of angle or subtends the same amount of angles or sweeps same amount of angle. Okay? That is the uniform circular motion. And there is a reason we call it uniform circular motion is that will become clear in a minute. Okay. Now once we assume that
फिर ये मतलब हम लोग अगर ये कह रहे हैं कि चेंज इन थीटा और चेंज इन टाइम मतलब जब हो रहा होगा तो फिर आप ये कह सकते हो कि एंगुलर वेलोसिटी कांस्टेंट होगी अगर ये यूनिफॉर्म सर्कुलर मोशन हुआ तो
ये देखते हैं अभी.
सही.
ठीक है, ठीक है. बट ये अभी तक ये अज्यूम करें, दैट्स द डेफिनेशन ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म सर्कुलर मोशन. All right, so now when we say that the object sweeps the same amount of angle in the same amount of time, then that means d theta over dt. But this is the definition of the velocity. Let's say now we're not assuming that anything about uniform motion. Now we need to find theta. So this is the same thing we have been doing. We have been using this equation a lot. Dx over dt is equal to v, and there we have been finding x. So what was the x that we have been finding?
Displacement.
Vt plus x naught, right? You substitute this back into the equation, you get this equation. You take a derivative on both sides, you get this equation, right? Okay. So what would be theta? All right. Does this make sense looking at that equation that we have been doing before? So this is the position at time t, the initial position, and in some cases we saw it was 0, and in other cases, depending on the choice of the coordinate system or the configuration of the problem, the initial position was not 0. And sorry, one more thing, I think I misspoke before. So this is only true, this is the condition. So this integral is only possible, this one, if we assume that the uniform circular motion dt, the same amount of angle in the same amount of time, means that omega is a constant. Yes. Okay. With this assumption, we get this equation. So this is an equation of motion, or the description of theta, how theta changes depending on time and the angular frequency. But what is phi here? Anyone?
The initial angular
angle.
G?
The initial angle making against the x-axis.
Yes, exactly. Because ये देखिए ना, इस तरह भी आपको ये reasoning करनी चाहिए कि phi must have the units of angle, not velocity. ठीक है ना? Because if it was velocity, then it must have time multiplied by it to give me the units of angle. Okay. So the phi here means that in a very similar sense, it's the initial angle. It's the angle when you start the motion. So let's say this is the object, and if when you start the motion, if the object is already here and making this angle, then that would be your starting angle, your theta naught, in other words. I could have written it like this to be more precise. Theta naught, theta at time t equal to 0. And just this one coordinate gives us all the description of the motion. And from here, where do we go? And you can actually find this this theta naught. Just don't be confused, because you may not find theta naught in your notes. So here theta naught is equal to phi. Okay. And you can actually, so I'm not going to do this exercise now. What you can actually do is write the position vector as we did before with this value of theta. Okay. Write the position vector r cosine, and now the value of theta is omega t plus phi, okay, times ex. And I'm just not writing the y component. You can figure that out yourself. Okay, but just look at the x component. So here, if you introduce the time equals to 0, and then solve for theta, all right, sorry, then solve for phi, you will find out, and introduce the components, the values, you will find out that phi is in fact tan inverse of the y coordinate at time 0 times the x coordinate at time 0, right? And this makes sense, of course, because if this is the angle of the vector at time 0, so this is simply x and this is simply y. So this phi is related to x and y, the position and the at time 0. All right. So you can do the algebra yourself. Now let's do something more interesting. So we have okay. So this is the position vector after solving the equation of motion for for theta, you can just find the position vectors. So you see again, if we were, so I hope that you appreciate this point, and if you cannot appreciate it now, I hope you have time to reflect later on that if we had taken the usual route, we would have to calculate both of these components, the x as a function of time and y as a function of time. What we have done here is we have ditched that coordinate system and chosen r and theta coordinate system as our describer. R was constant. We only calculated theta as a function of time. And from there, we can directly write both the x component and y component and essentially write the position vector. All right. So, but that was not the main point of this exercise. So the main point is let's make a substitution for time. T equals t plus 2 pi over omega. So let's make this substitution in this quantity, in this expression above, in the position vector. So that would be t plus 2 pi over omega is equal r cosine. Now this would be if I simplify after the substitution, omega t plus phi plus 2 pi ex. ये देख लें स्टेप अगर समझ नहीं आया तो you introduce यहाँ पे t की जगह पे t की, if you substitute this value of t plus 2 omega and then multiply inside, you will get omega t plus 2 pi. ठीक है, and that's why we get the same thing, the same and an additional factor of 2 pi. ठीक है. Similarly, r sine omega t plus phi plus 2 pi. ठीक है. Now there is a very important property of the trigonometric functions, cosine and sine. What is that? What is the period of these functions?
2 pi.
2 pi. जी रहीम क्या, रहमान क्या, जी मोहम्मद आप बताएं.
सर वो ये t की आपने सब्स्टिट्यूशन कैसे फाइंड किया कि t plus 2 pi over omega हम करेंगे? ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया.
नहीं, ये this is a complete guesswork. You can't do it. It makes sense in the post facto. Okay, it makes sense after we have analyzed this. Okay, so or you could think, for example, because I wouldn't have to do it if I was teaching, because I already know that cosine has a period of 2 pi, and it leads to an important understanding about the motion of the circular motion. So now you see that the cosine has period 2 pi. What that means is that if you have cosine x plus 2 pi, it has the same value if so cosine x has the same value if you go right or left by 2 pi. So that means it's equal to cosine x. ये पता है सबको, this property of the trigonometric function? All right, and now we use that property of the trigonometric functions and rewrite the equation. Cosine omega t plus phi, just 2 pi को disappear कर दिया है. ठीक है. And you get Ey. All right. And now if you carefully look, what is this on the right side? Isn't it the same thing before substitution? Isn't it RT?
सही है, 2 pi कहाँ गया?
यही तो अभी बताया है कि ये 2 pi कोसाइन का पीरियड है. ये जो यहाँ मैंने एक्सप्रेशन लिखी थी कि कोसाइन ऑफ x plus 2 pi is equal to cosine of x.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you.
ठीक है? So this is very important. What this means is that there is a special quantity of time, let's call that T capital, equals 2 pi over omega. After this much amount of time, the position vector would come back to its original position T. If we started with T and then spent 2 pi by omega time, we would be back to that position. And it makes sense because we are dealing with circular motion, and there has to be some time when the vector comes back to the position it started, right? Or when the object comes back to the position where it started, right? So there is some privileged time, and it's related to the frequency in this through this equation, and we have just found it. And this is called the period of the motion. Okay. After t equals 2 pi by omega, the angular velocity, the object comes back to its original position. And it's interesting to see, and again, this comes from the trigonometric functions, that the object not only comes back to its original position at t, it comes back to the original position at 2t, at 3t as well, at 4t. So all of these are the integral multiples of the time period. So this is the period of the motion, and as it should be, it is related with the angular velocity, how fast you are going. For example, so if you keep in view this quantity here, so let's say that if your omega was pi by 2, some value pi by 2, so what would be the time in seconds that the object would take to come back to its original position? Anyone?
4 seconds.
4 seconds. And if it was pi, then it would come back to original position in 2 seconds.
2
And
seconds.
yeah, and if it was 2 pi, so I'm changing the values of velocity. And as you see, the faster the velocity is, sorry, the larger the velocity is, the faster the object comes back to its original position. Okay. And one important thing that I forgot was the units of omega. So the units here are linear velocity, meters per second. What are the units here for omega?
Radians per second.
Radians per second. Okay, you have to be careful. So when I write pi by 2, then this is clear to you, right? So these are some of the important quantities that we would use or need to know to describe the motion of an object moving in a circle. And now we ask a little bit more difficult questions, because all the quantities that we were dealing with, the angular frequency and the time period, all of them are scalars. And we need to ask the question, what is the velocity at a given point in time? Let's say this is the object is going along this circle. So what is its velocity v, for example, at time t? And what is its direction? All right. So we use the first principles. We use the definition of the velocity. Now the definition of the velocity is that dr by dt, the change in the position vector with respect to time, is by definition the velocity of the object at time t. All right. So first of all, before I do anything, okay, so let's do this derivative and let's find out Vt and use the position as a position coordinate. So position coordinate is here. Sorry, the position vector. So this is the position vector. Now let's take its derivative with respect to time, right? So if you take that derivative, what you get is minus r sine, yes, minus r sine omega t plus phi times omega ex, ये x component है velocity का, ठीक है, प्लस r cosine omega t plus phi omega times ey, ठीक है. So this is the velocity. And the direction is of course given by this vector. You can look at this vector and then decipher that the direction of the velocity is, for example, you can see this. This is the position vector. ये position vector का x component है, ठीक है? And this is the y component, ठीक है? तो जब when you write the position vector, you look at the sign plus ex plus ey, okay? The position vector is pointing in the first quadrant, but look at this quantity. The x component is negative by and the value is of course given by this number here, this number, but it's negative. So the at the point of the velocity, the x component is pointing in this direction. All right, the x component of the velocity, and the y component of the velocity is still positive. So it is pointing in the same direction as the y component of the acceleration. So what would be roughly the direction of the velocity? This would be the direction of the velocity. Tangent to the, and strictly speaking, tangent to the circle, tangent to the path. And you can see it from here. This negative sign actually helps you decipher it. All right, so this is the linear velocity of an object moving in the circle is always tangent to the trajectory, tangent to the path of the object. And magnitude, of course, is given by, you can figure that out. You can get the magnitude by taking Vx squared plus Vy squared square root. And if you do actually this calculation, the magnitude turns out to be, anyone?
Sir, R omega.
R omega, very good. Okay, so see that the linear velocity, the magnitude of the linear velocity is related to the angular velocity through this equation, but only the magnitude, because the angular velocity is a scalar, so we can't really relate it to the velocity itself. It's related to the magnitude of the vector. Magnitude of v is related to the angular velocity. It's simply r times the angular velocity.
Sir, when you were integrating dr over dt, wasn't it with respect to t? So why did you add omega in the integration?
Why did I add what?
Sir, when you were finding the equation for vt, when you were integrating it, why did you add omega? Because weren't we integrating it with respect to t?
कहाँ पे ये यहाँ पे
No,
ये
sir, on the same board.
उस पे तो इंटीग्रेट तो नहीं किया, कहाँ पे इंटीग्रेट
Sir,
किया
the
है?
equation for the
ये
equation for velocity.
ये
Yes.
ये ओमेगा कहाँ से आया है? इंटीग्रेट तो नहीं किया, डेरिवेट किया है। ठीक है, और
Right,
अगर ठीक है, और ये देखें ना, ये है डेरिवेटिव जो आप कंफ्यूज कर रहे हैं। डी डी टी साइन ओमेगा टी इज इक्वल टू ओमेगा कोसाइन ओमेगा टी, राइट? तो ये ओमेगा कांस्टेंट है ना, बाहर आ जाएगा। ठीक है, so that's why you get omega outside. Derivative लिया है। All right, so we have found the velocity, its direction, its relationship with the angular velocity. ठीक है, the next point of discussion is the acceleration. How much time do we have?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. I think that should be enough. Yes, that's all I need. So now we have the velocity vector on the previous board. You have it on your notes. Now you can take another derivative of that. Let me ask you a question that we discussed in the earlier. What function is equal to its own derivative? Write in the comment box. Don't speak because too many people want to speak. Very good. So what function is that if we take its two derivatives, what function is up to a constant factor is equal to itself if we take its double derivative? One of them would be the exponential, because exponential का double derivative भी लेंगे तो फिर भी वो अपने उसके equal आएगा. So the other functions is for example the trigonometric functions, cosine and sine. So if you take the double derivative of the position vector, you would be surprised to find that by a factor minus omega squared, what you will get is a position vector back. Okay, do this differentiation yourself. Do the differentiation of the velocity vector and then separate or arrange terms in such a way that you could write, you can combine the trigonometric functions and everything in such a way that you can write the r back. You can get the r vector back. All right. Now this is the acceleration. The acceleration of an object doing uniform circular motion. Doesn't it confuse you? Because we were talking about uniform circular motion. Wasn't the acceleration supposed to be 0?
Direction change हो
जी बिल्कुल, because velocity की direction change हो रही है. So you have to understand this, that although when we say uniform motion in general sense in terms of the translatory motion, that usually means we assume the acceleration to be 0. But when we say uniform circular motion, then what we mean is the constant angular velocity and the acceleration still changes. The second thing is, what is the direction of the acceleration? Can you see it from here?
towards center.
Towards the center, exactly opposite to the position vector of the object because of the minus sign. This is just a scalar. Okay? It's just scaling this vector. So the acceleration the velocity, linear velocity, is tangent to the curve. The acceleration is always pointing towards the center of the towards the center of the circle. This is the direction of the acceleration, right? And they are always making a 90 degrees angle with each other for uniform circular motion. For uniform circular motion, okay, A makes a 90 degrees angle with V, and if it is not uniform circular motion, then this is not, they are not. And here is the utility of using, for example, vector products. If you want to find out, you have some velocity vector and you have acceleration vector, and you are not sure whether it's a uniform circular motion or not, you can just take their dot product. And if the dot product turns out to be 0, that means that they are perpendicular to each other. So the next is the magnitude of the vector. So the acceleration vector, this one here. So you could write, is very simple. The magnitude of A is equal to omega square times the magnitude of R vector, and which we know is just the capital R. Okay. So the magnitude of the acceleration is, for uniform circular motion, is omega times omega squared times R. And one more thing that and from the previous board that I want to emphasize is that the magnitude of the velocity for uniform circular motion is constant. Is R omega. It is constant. This is what uniform circular motion means. It's not the velocity that is constant because direction is changing. It is only the magnitude of the case of uniform circular motion that that the speed or the magnitude of V is constant. And when you have non-uniform circular motion, then this would not be constant. This would not, even the magnitude of the velocity would not be constant. One thing, and the second thing for you is that the acceleration would no more point towards the center. It would point somewhere else. All right, you can read about it. When you have non-uniform circular motion, the acceleration would not point towards the center of the trajectory. It would point away from somewhere else, away from this object. And this quantity would no more constant for non-uniform circular motion. All right, if you have any questions, that's it for today. Thank you very much.
Sir, non